Okay, I wanted to show you something here. I planted a watermelon seed. It was a tiny little seedling, and I thought, let me try growing this in the greenhouse. I did a small watermelon last year, and it got a few melons from it. And so let me try a watermelon. This thing is really responding to the area, and I've been feeding it at first some fish emulsion and then some bone meal, and I've been watering it daily, taking care of it. And you can see I have a little trap back there to catch any bugs. Soil gnats is what I was having a problem with here, but it's growing, and I'm going to see how it does, and maybe it'll respond like this has. This was also a tiny little seedling in the middle of the same size barrel, and it is a cauliflower. Let me see if I can get that off. I don't have anybody to do this for me, so I have to do it on my own. Let's see. I can't see. I can't even. Maybe you could see it. Okay, that's a cauliflower. It was a tiny little seedling right here at the bottom, and it grew. And just so that you'll know, I pulled the outer leaves off because I did not have a piece of cloth to take care of every bit of it. My lettuce is doing good here. The leeks and onions have finally popped through. Leeks is what I was really going for. And bulb onions, they're starting up. And a few other little items here. I've been slowly taking these over to my garden to plant them in the ground. Now this is a melon. This is a Black Mountain melon. Last year I grew it in the greenhouse. It seemed odd to have it in a barrel this size, but I plan for it to grow, and I'm going to let it just extend out over the container here, and the beets will be harvested really soon, so I'm not worried about those being in there. It'll have a place of its own to grow. And my carrots are coming out real well, and so are the green beans and carrots. I interplanted those. Now here in my Home Depot bucket, I planted the cucumber plant. This incidentally is all from seed, and I'm getting a few cucumbers in there. I had to add some fish emulsion to it because it looked kind of faded green, and so I had to rejuvenate it a little bit. And here, my little covering to protect my seedlings is let's see what I have in there. Swiss chard. A Swiss chard. These little plants back here I pulled from the front garden, transplanted them back here. They're daisies, and I just noticed this the other day. This is a nasturtium, which is starting here in the raised bed. I didn't plant it, but I'm sure the reason I'm getting that is because of all of this. We can see that it's just growing wild, and I planted some seed a few years ago, and it just took off. The seed just blows where it wants to and comes up. I did not plant these here. These came up by themselves. Once you've got the seed, you don't have to worry too much about it. It'll come up. Crazy project. I don't know. Maybe I didn't get all the details, but I put a little bit of soil at the very bottom of this container, and this container has drainage holes at the bottom, just for your information. And I set some sweet potatoes in there. I think there's 3. Maybe it's too many. I don't know. But there is 3. And on top of that, I put this straw or hay. Kind of apprehensive about this project, but I'm going to see if it works, and I'll just have to forget about it because I know it takes months and months to get anything. So I'm going to leave it at that. And here I planted a couple of little potatoes, and I've already got that. That's kind of encouraging. And this here is my begonia that I happened to find. To tell you the truth, I don't know where this little tiny begonia came from. This is not tiny now. You see how big it is? And the reason I put a screen around it is because I don't want my cat getting in there, because he likes to come in that area because we have birds coming over to the bird feeder. And so he works his way on top of that fencing and sometimes jumps down. So I put it there for the protection of the plant, and it's growing quite well. These are my overwinter chilies. Not quite sure which ones they are. Anybody who's really familiar with them, I plant them. I don't really notice the leaves, but they're two different ones. I know I planted, well, kind of looking at the one coming out, it looks like a jalapeno. And this one, let's see. I don't see anything on this one that I could see, but I could see the buds are coming out. Okay, and I have a bush bean. My grandson planted the seed in there. It came out, and I'm really glad it was a bush bean that we planted. And again, I put some wire around it, so because again, my cat loves to jump up, and you can see all the wire. I did that so that it would discourage him from jumping up here when the birds come and visit the bird seed container, the bird seeder. So back there, forgotten all about it. I can see now because it doesn't get a whole lot of sun. It's a tomato plant. It's growing. It's growing. Again, for the same reason I put a barrier around it. And I've got some zinnias going on here, and some other pretty flowers. I've got tomato plants. This one is, oh goodness, I don't know. Can't remember. I'd have to go look at my notes. When I planted them, I had made some notes. But it is a tomato plant, I know that. This is, again, from seed, my zucchini. I keep it covered. You can see I uncovered it this morning, but I keep it covered for most of the day. But if I see a white butterfly, a white moth flying around here, I go and cover it. I really do, because we know they can just eat up your plant after they lay those eggs, and they turn into worms, and they eat up your plant. Now this one here is an old melon seed, cantaloupe. That's what that is. And those seeds are from a harvest I had maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And I keep passing them by thinking I'm not going to use old seed because it's not going to germinate. Well, it did. It germinated. And I'll show you in a minute the one out in front. I have one in the front yard, the front garden, that has is growing nicely. My gladiolas, and I believe this is a cabbage. I keep it covered mostly because there has been a moth flying around here, and you can see wherever you see covers, those are the winter crops. They're cauliflower, broccoli, or cabbage. But this is what I wanted to show you. Back over here, I came out this morning and uncovered it, by the way. It is the same plant as the one I had in the backyard, and it is a melon, cantaloupe, a cantaloupe. And you notice I put a little collar around it, and that is to keep the roly-polies away. I did the same thing for this reason. I had this over it until it got to grow past the rim of that red cup. Now, it's doing pretty good on its own now. I have a couple that are in here. You can't see them, but there is a collar on one of them, and it's a green, I don't know if it's a broccoli or not, to tell you the truth. Oh my goodness, my first ladybug. Look at that. So happy to see a ladybug in the garden. I want to see a bunch, but I see one, which tells me he might have some friends. Okay, these are my lilies. I have another one here, another plant, and I'm going to pull this off so you can see. You see how pale green it is? I'm going to give it some emulsion, fish emulsion mixture with water this morning. I'm going to do that. And this one is another one that I have covered. That's a tomato. Whoops. That's a tomato. Okay, and I keep it covered for a while until it's gotten strong enough where it could survive on its own. I messed that up a little bit. I'll have to fix that. And this is a cabbage that I had to put a collar around because, oh, you know what? I see a roly-poly in there, and I don't want to see a roly-poly. I'm going to grab this bunch of dirt, throw it out, and I see one here, throw it out. I see one in here, and oh my goodness, I see more roly-polies than I want to see in there. They're not supposed to be in there. You let them in. I know what happened. Actually, you're supposed to push this down and push all the dirt around the edge so none can get in. I hope I'm not walking them in. I'm going to do this. Okay. But it looks healthy. It looks like nothing has bothered it. So that's good. Some more tomato plants. These collars I put, just got some disposable plastic cups and cut off the bottoms because these were quite expensive. I think I got 5 and they were $30. Too much. Way too much. So I went out and got, I thought I'd stick with what I've been doing, and that's just disposable cups. That's how I do it.